Hello guys, welcome to my channel for a new UB battle report. This time the second game of the UB tournament CR9X. I'm facing a German guy, just Flo. Actually I could have played in German. that reminds me of a previous tournament I did in Germany. From time to time I went to Germany to play a tournament or two. Was always funny because I'm able to speak German, but the technical vocabulary that we have in 9th age, all the words and the technical aspects, I really don't know them in German, to be honest. So that's why it was funny, because I was like mixing between speaking in German, but then trying to translate from English to German sometimes, or to understand what my opponent was saying in German, some technical aspects. So it's always a funny aspect, but was definitely cool to play some tournament in Germany. Can always recommend. It was always a fun place to go with really cool guys playing the game there. So yeah, coming back to the game, facing Just Flow, cool guy from the forum, very active I think on the forum. He was playing Beast Herd for this tournament. Here you have my list, always the same, still preparing for the huge tournament, which takes place in a couple of weeks, last weekend of October. The Interregio. I will make for you a video explaining a little bit my choice and all my army looks like for this tournament. I think it could be interesting also for you to have a bit more hobby content on my channel, and that I'm able to show you a little bit what I painted, what I prepared, how my army look like, because for this particular tournament the soft points take a huge importance, which is cool, because then you have a tournament with 300 guys, more than 300 actually, with most of them really cool looking army because of the painting score, which is really cool to take part. So yeah, this is my army. My opponent was playing what looks like to be almost full Vanguard army. Basically, quickly, he has a Master Shamanism on the Chariot, which is hard to kill because of the Trickster Cunning, so reroll to wound if I'm correct, and the combination with Shamanism, so the Scarification, 5 of Ward Save, and the Free Forest. Beast Lord General was, I guess, a 2-up, 4-up with MR2 and the Crown of Horns, so you don't need to reroll your Primal Fury test, which is always cool. BSB with MR2 and the Dark Rain, which makes your opponent harder to hit in the turn 1 in shooting. And then another mage on a chariot who is an adept, an apprentice of Druidism with a Basalt Infusion, so I guess probably a 3-up armor save maybe, and Pillager Icon, which gives to a lot of units in this army Vanguard. Basically it gives it to, I think, all chariot except character and the Razor Tusk herd, I guess, which is most of his army. In core you have 3 units which have ambush. You have one time the Mongrel Herd with a Banner of Wild Herd, which is 1 time +1 strength with spears. 2 units of Wild Herd, 1 time with throwing weapon, 1 time with shield. I really like the combination with throwing weapon. I'm a less fan of the shield combination for the Wild Herd in ambush, I must say. 2 units of Feral Hounds as Piece of Chaff in core as well. Then you have a big unit of Razor Tusk Herd, which is very resilient, a lot of health point, and still pretty cheap for 10 models. 2 Razor Tusk Chariot, 2 Raiding Chariot, and another 2 piece of Chaff, the Razor Tusk Herd. So yeah, a lot of threats in this list, lot of Vanguard, Ambush, which looks like a very aggressive list, on paper at least. We played Counter Trust King of the Hill. You will see the map is quite particular because you don't have a lot of choice for King of the Hill purposes. I will show you after what are the options. Here you have the spell selection, pretty classic for myself, with Thaumaturgy, basically often discussion between Breast Weapon, Wrath of God, and Trial of Faith. Which 2 of these do you want? Very often I will take Breast Weapon and Wrath of God, because these 2 are really great with my list. So yeah, as I've told you, the list look like to be very aggressive, a lot of Vanguards, ambushers. The character setup can be a bit problematic for me. For example, I don't like really much the idea of the general coming into my Death Star and challenging me, because I don't have fighty character in the unit, so that might be a problem. Meaning I need to target these 2 characters with my cannon. If I can choose the side of the board because of the King of the Hill and the special map, the top looks definitely better. I will show you after the map. And I have the feeling that the one who doesn't choose the side because of counter trust will try to start the game and be aggressive. Because if you don't choose the side, if you are in the bottom part of it, it will be much more difficult, I guess. So my thought process with the map and everything, if I play bottom and I start the game, then basically I need to come forward to be very aggressive, so I will need my King Eater in ambush. And if I'm top, I'm thinking that I will go second because my opponent will drop everything because he will be able to do so. And I will need my King Eater in ambush, so they will be on the board. That was a bit the thought process before the game. To my surprise, my opponent won the roll, but still took the bottom part of it. Which was surprising for me. He took the field as piece of terrain for King of the Hill, meaning he need to protect the field and make sure that no one of my scoring unit can go into the field, which might be difficult because it's in my part. And if you check with counter trust, what I was saying before is with 16, basically on my part of the board, the only available piece of terrain are wall, hill, water. Of course, if you are top, you want to take the wall because it's near your deployment zone. And if you are bottom, same problem. The hill is outside of the zone, so you have basically forest, wall, and field. So either you choose the battle of the wall, which is like almost all the ground, but in my favor if I'm top. Or you take the field, but you will need to come with some support to take it back. So my opponent decided to take the field, I took the wall, and I was able to start to deploy. Since he chose the side, of course, I dropped everything to go first as soon as I could. Here you see my deployment, Iron Fist Giant, 2 Hunter, which have very nice position early in the game, out of arc. It's always a bad sign if both Hunter are out of arc so early on in the game, because then it's hard to recover for the opponent. My scoring unit near the field, the great weapon guy who can threat and support the Death Star, 2 cannon near the Death Star who might be able to take the wall early in the game, and then 2 King Eater on the left, one be able to chaff, and the second one should be able to go around and threat him. So I was pretty happy with my deployment. My opponent counter deploy in such fashion. He put a Razor Tusk Chariot, unit of Hounds, another Razor Tusk Chariot, Pumbaa, Raiding Chariot, the big unit of Razor Tusk Herd, the block with the BSB, and then all 3 characters behind the hill. I was surprised because, to be honest, with Dark Rain, long range, it will be very, very hard for me to hit with cannon. So I think he could definitely have been much more aggressive with these models since he has Dark Rain. Because if you do that without Dark Rain, I can understand you don't want to get killed before you play. But with Dark Rain, I think he should have been able to be a bit more forward and threaten me with more units in the front line, so to say. And here on the left, a Raiding Chariot with another unit of chaff. So yeah, let's start the game. My turn 1. Of course, I take advantage of the right side of the board. I move laterally with this guy, move forward with him to be in range to brace weapon on the chariot, and I turn around everybody more or less that is not focused going forward, basically to be ready for the ambush, because he can ambush turn 1 and reroll to ambush. So I'm pretty sure he will be on the game, on the battlefield turn 1 with all his units. Basically, I blocked from here more or less until here, which is not bad, because then he cannot come where the token are, where he can threaten the cannon. So I'm well protected. Of course, he can ambush in this zone, but that's not so bad for me since I have a giant with Iron Fist. I should be able to annoy him for stare check and so on. So I should be fine, I guess. Of course, I turn around my cannon because of Dark Rain and will not be able to hit other than 6-up. I don't like the odds of hitting on 6-up. I prefer not to misfire and wait for the character to come out, so I will not shoot this turn. And I took the wall with my Death Star. In Magic, I was able to cast a breast weapon on him and strength 4, and I was able with the breast weapon then to kill this chariot, force a panic check on them. They are out of bubble, it's a 5 rerollable, and they flee out of the table. So really nice, 2 units out with 1 spell. The comet was dispelled, of course, and then let's move on to his turn 1. I charge with the Pumbaa into my Death Star. I'm behind the wall, I have Leaguer Tongue, I have a Binding Scroll, so I was pretty confident of my odds of at least sticking. or make him flee. He comes on the board with 2 ambushes on the back of my giant, which is not so problematic for me. He chaffs me with a Pumbaa, move forward with Razor's Chariot, and also with Raiding Chariot. And here I prepare some things to try to slow me down if I pursue, that I contact this unit, and that I'm not able to free pivot and then charge. That was more or less his idea. But at the same time, if you see, the flee corridor is looking really bad for this unit, because if they fail to stick, they have no reroll. First of all, they have only leadership from him, so it's 9, no reroll. If he lose combat, maybe less than 9. And then if you have to flee, basically you're out of the table, and you do a lot of panics for a lot of units. So yeah, that's a bit dangerous. Use this unit to chaff me and put the chariot behind to countercharge if needed. In the magic phase, I use my binding scroll on +1 attack. Obviously, I don't want him to do too many damage against me. I want to profit from the Ligatong. He casts to break the spirit on my Death Star. I have to let that off, and I'm able to dispel the +1 resilience. Shooting, he does 1 wound to my giant on the right, and then close combat. I rolled pretty low. I did only 3 wounds to him. Of course, break the spirit was quite huge, and then he was able to do 5 wounds to me, and we did a tie basically. So both of us were able to stick. Really close combat. I didn't expect that. Maybe I could have buffed myself slightly more in order to help me be sure to stick. So that was still a bit scary for me. My turn 2. I charge first with the giant who was chaffing my hunter. He has a 5 with no reroll. He flees, and then I redirect, needing 7 to contact this guy. Fail, I roll double 1, but I'm able to charge with the hunter. The giant comes here to chaff these 2 units, so he's not able to pass around. And if he charges me, I think I will be fine, because he has only strength 3. I have a thunderstomp, a lot of attack, so I should be fine. Here we're still in combat, and here on the left I pass my march, go around, use the chaff as cover. Yeah, basically I'm pretty happy blocking 2 units. Yeah, making sure that 2 units need to move and do stuff for 1 Keen Eater is pretty fine for me. Oh, I forgot to mention that he moved the Beast Lord on the hill to support next turn. So I have a juicy target for my cannon, and yeah, the rest move around. I prepare these 2 scoring units to be able to charge the guys on the right. I want to make sure that these ambushes are dealt with as soon as possible, because then I will be feeling really well for the scenario. Then I can manage the rest. And here on the left, I just move this guy to be ready to threaten with a counter charge. Basically, if he charges me with BSB unit, I want to charge with him, maybe giant and so on. I want to force him hard decision. So basically, I was feeling pretty good at this point of time. In my magic phase, I cast an hereditary on the Death Star, dispelled by my opponent, but then I was able to cast -1 strength on these guys, which is really nice. And then breast weapon strength 3 on the mage. With the cannon, 4+2+, hit wounds, he ward save, and then 4+2+, hits wounds, it doesn't save, and I do 3 wounds. So really nice from cannon. Really happy about that. Close combat, this time I win by 5, he flees over everybody out of the table. First couple of panic check, this guy flees, the rest stick. And here we do 2 wounds each. I have a charge flank, 2 wounds, he has 2 wounds, and he stick on a 6 rerollable, which is, yeah, he did really well to do 2 wounds to my guy. I was pretty surprised. That was really good performance from the chariot, and it's a bit annoying for me, because I'm blocking combat. So I reform in a way to be as far as possible from BSB's unit and to be in the front to avoid him having Swift Stride. You never know, he might just fail his charge roll. His turn 2, and here something big happened. As you see, some big pieces are missing. What happened is the Beast Lord charged my guy. I did stand and shoot with breast weapon from him first, did 1 wound. With strength 3, I rolled like 2 or 3 6s. And he failed 1 armor save plus ward save, so 1 wound. And then the other wound was done by the crossbow of the BSB. Hey, yeah, crossbow, strength 5, AP 3, bam, 1 wound, so dead. Basically, panic check, and the guys, the 2 mage, 8 with no reroll, they fail. I guess with reroll, I think he did this charge first, so maybe even with reroll, he failed and ran off the board. Crazy. Crazy bad luck for my opponent, and here charged with the BSB, but as you can see, I think it's game over turn 2, basically, because he has no Beast Lord anymore, almost no more magic, I have so much things alive, everything is alive. It might be very complicated for him. So he moves around with Raiding Chariot. Here he tried to charge my guy. I fled with the dog, and he failed to redirect onto Tribesman, and rallied at least both Pumbas. That was something at least. In his magic, what can I say? In his magic, he put like hard target distracting here, I guess. And did 2 wounds to my giant with the throwing weapon. And that was it. Close combat, I issue a challenge, he takes it with the champion. I rolled pretty low, only did 2 wounds. Because of static res, I have to flee. I flee, he pursue only with the chariot, but doesn't catch me, and reform with the BSB's unit. My turn 3, here are all the charges. I charge with the giant on the right, force a terror check on the 7. He flee off the board. I double charge with this guy, first with them, in order for the stand and shoot to be, basically if he force panic and I flee off the board, I don't cause a panic on them. So I charge with them, he did like maybe 1 wound, and then I charge with these guys, so feeling okay. Here I charge with Giant and Tribesman, feeling really nice about the overrun of the Tribesman into this unit. I charge with this guy on the flank. Really like the odds of him sticking the unit, challenging the BSB and so on, because he has no champion anymore. And then charge the Death Star onto the flank of the Raiding Chariot with a 10 Swift Stride overrun onto the BSB's unit. So that was it. I just moved this guy around, and yeah, that was it more or less. I guess I forgot to move him, maybe. Don't know, to be honest. Yeah. Yeah, what else? I think in Magic... I put -1 toughness on him to make sure I can kill him and overrun. I failed Hereditary, and my opponent dispelled the breast weapon. And then to make things short, I killed this model, I killed this one, overrun on a 10 here. So yeah, basically it was game over. As you can see here, I dealt with this unit, here I dealt with BSM's unit. And basically how it looks like towards end of turn 5, I was able to kill everybody. The remaining chariot was killed by Wrath of God. And that was the end picture of it, with my model all around the board. So yeah, it took 1 unit of Tribesman of me. I took, of course, secondary objective plus everything from his army, which is 20. What can I say on the game? Of course, at the same time being top, be able to start the game, that was huge. That was really huge, to be able to be aggressive and be in a good spot after deployment, to be in control of the 2 pieces of terrain of Kingdom of the Hill. That was really important. As I've told you in the beginning, the fact that the Hunter were in very good position turn 1, that was really hard to recover for my opponent. The rather Tusk here charging my Death Star was a gamble that nearly paid off, hitting on 5 up. And then wounding on 2+, he still managed to do 5 wounds, which was not bad. And then I fluffed a little bit, and I was scared that I could lose potentially this combat, so I was happy that I had some static res to help me. Of course, I could have as well boosted a little bit the unit to make sure that I can win this fight comfortably. That could have been maybe a bit safer. And the fact, of course, that I was able to kill the general, I think it ended up the game, especially since it caused panic on both mage fleeing off the board, then that it was obviously game over. So yeah, really strange tournament. First game I got 20'd on turn 2, and this game I'm able to 20 somebody on turn 2 as well, more or less. So strange game. And my opponent, I think, should have taken the top part of the board, because the configuration of deployment, the map, and King of the Hill make things much easier if you are on the top part of the board. Especially since I was able to be on the top part plus to start. I think that was a bit too much of an advantage in this matchup, and the situation maybe a bit too difficult for my opponent. So yeah, that was it for this second battle. I hope you like it. There's still 1 game remaining. I'm more or less in the middle of the board at the moment with 20 points after 2 games. I will try to win the last game to finish well this tournament. As I've told you, still a practice. Looking forward to the Interregio at the end of the month. In the middle of this, I still have a tournament next weekend. Over next weekend, sorry, the 17th. A 3-game, 1-day tournament in Switzerland. So really looking forward to this tournament. Will be a good occasion to practice on the table with my models for the Interregio because I'm playing the same list. So yeah, that was it. Looking forward to talk to you again about other battles. Talk to you soon. Bye, guys.